Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and it has been confirmed by multiple sources that star wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Chris Godwin's season is done with a dislocated ankle, an injury that he had sustained in the literal final moments of the Buccaneers' Week 6 loss to the Baltimore Ravens. And whether or not you feel the decision to keep Chris Godwin in the game was right, whether or not you feel like the decision was wrong, regardless of that, it is done. And now Chris Godwin is out for the season. He ends his 2024 season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with 576 receiving yards and 5 receiving touchdowns on 50 receptions and 62 targets. First things first, I want to say I wish nothing but the best for Chris Godwin in a speedy recovery. This is absolutely heartbreaking news. Heartbreaking. Chris Godwin was on the path to having far and away his best season as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. I don't even want to say far and away because he did have 1,300 receiving yards in 2019 and 9 receiving touchdowns, but he was looking to have a really good season, is the point. He had 3 straight 1,000-yard years from 2021 to 2023. He was going to be on that pace yet again. Heck, he got halfway to that point through 7 games. And now that is done. Now the Buccaneers are going to be looking for answers in that wide receiver room because Chris Godwin was a big part of this offense. And again, I wish him nothing but the best in a speedy recovery. This is a huge blow. This is a huge, huge blow to the Bucs offense. And again, it came at such an unfortunate time. 43 seconds left in the game, and you lose. I would even say this year, your top offensive weapon for the remainder of the season. Okay? It's not great. I wish nothing but the best for Chris Godwin going forward in his recovery. He was in a contract year. I don't know how that situation is going to look now. We don't even have to talk about that now because we still have 10 games left in this season, and the Bucs are going to have to adapt. The Bucs are going to have to recover. What does this mean going forward for this wide receiver room? Well, as of the recording of this video, we don't know the extent of Mike Evans' hamstring injury. We don't even necessarily know how long it is going to knock him out for, if it will at all even. We can talk about that in a separate video if he does have to miss extended time. But what this does mean for the guys left on their roster is Jalen McMillan, Trey Palmer, and Sterling Shepard are going to have to step up in a big way. Especially Jalen McMillan, who got 8 targets in that game against the Baltimore Ravens. He's likely, whenever Mike Evans is healthy, your wide receiver 2 going forward. If not, maybe your wide receiver 1 going forward if Mike Evans misses any amount of time. Trey Palmer would likely be your wide receiver 2. Both guys are built the exact same. Both are 6'1", 190 pounds each. Literally, McMillan's 192, Palmer's 190. They have similar builds to Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin is heavier. He's 6'1", 209, according to the Bucs website. And look, you can't perfectly replicate what Godwin gave you into this offense. The catching ability, the blocking ability, the work in the slot. You're not going to get that exactly from any one of these wide receivers going forward. You are going to have to adapt your offense. And I personally trust Liam Cohen to adapt this offense. I do. I'm going to be interested to see how this offense works going forward with McMillan, with Trey Palmer, with Sterling Shepard. Raheem Jarrett is coming back from the injured reserve. 6 foot tall, 192 pounds. They liked him enough to designate him to return from the IR. He will help in terms of reinforcements. Cameron Johnson's on the IR, so you can't really necessarily use him for the next few weeks, but on your practice squad, you do have Tanner Canoe, you do have Ryan Miller, and you just brought in Marquez Callaway at 6'2", 204 pounds. Maybe Marquez Callaway gets some playing time. He's a very similar build to Chris Godwin, pretty much the exact same. Maybe you guys do see one of those players get promoted to the active roster. Honestly, I'm probably going to say it's probably going to be Callaway or Ryan Miller. Um, but you're not going to be able to replicate perfectly what Chris Godwin gave you. It's not realistic. But I do think this room, and I'm excluding Mike Evans here again because the hamstring injury. One, you pray that Mike Evans can come back healthy quickly, right? That's the first thought. But secondly, I think that McMillan, Palmer, and Sterling Shepard have shown some good things this year. And while none of them are Chris Godwin, I do think that all three of those guys can provide some good things going forward. And I do think the Buccaneers will look to add somebody somewhere down the line. In fact, I'm going to be making a good amount of videos this week talking about what the Bucs can possibly do. Todd Bowles said after the game that the Bucs may look to add a wide receiver by trade or free agency. Todd Bowles said, quote, "We'll definitely look and see what's out there." So he's not closing the door on that. The Bucs may look to go sign somebody in free agency. They may look to trade for a wide receiver. There's a good amount of interesting options out there. So we're going to see what the Bucs can do. I don't 100% believe the Bucs are going to stand pat with their options. I don't think their options of McMillan, Palmer, and Shepard are terrible at this point. But it also wouldn't surprise, and with Raheem Jarrett coming back, but it also would not surprise me at all if they don't stand pat and they do go out there and try and get some different guys. And maybe they do promote a guy like Marquez Callaway. Maybe they do promote a guy like Ryan Miller or maybe even Tanner Canu. I don't know. We'll see. But it wouldn't surprise me if they go out there and they add another name as well. And we'll talk about some other names that are out there in separate videos. I feel like that I want to do that. But again, this is a huge loss to the Bucs offense. But I will say that I've liked what I've seen from the offense. And I know Godwin was a big part of that. But the running backs are going to help. I've really liked what I've seen from Rachaad White, Bucky Irving, and Sean Tucker. I like what Liam Cohen's been scheming. I think Cade Otton's going to have to step up in a big way now. And honestly, Baker's going to have to carry this team like he's never carried this team before. He's going to have to elevate the play of guys like McMillan, like Palmer, and like Shepard, even with guys like Cade Otton in the running backs. Like Baker's going to have to deal. And he leads the league in passing touchdowns right now. He also has thrown 7 interceptions so far this year. We've seen some good, I would say we've seen way more good moments than bad from Baker. But the past couple of games, we've seen bad moments from Baker creeping up more and more. Maybe this means Liam Cohen is going to be a bit more cautious with scheming things going forward. I do not know. But I do know that yes, this is a horrible, horrible injury to this offense. You lost the best player on, the best producer on your offense so far this year, in my opinion. I like some of the guys that they have there in McMillan and in Palmer and in Shepard. I like what Baker's been doing this year. I pray that Mike Evans can get back as healthy as possible quickly. Again, we may have to talk about that in a separate video. I like how the running backs have been playing this year. And I like the play caller in Liam Cohen. And I trust Liam Cohen, I trust this offense to have some level of success without Godwin. I don't think we're going to see the same levels of success. If we do, promote Liam Cohen to head coach after this season. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's how I feel about that. If Cohen can still cook without Godwin and without possibly even Evans as well, brother, promote Cohen to the head coach. I mean, that's how I feel. But we'll see, man. It's a crappy loss, not just the game itself, but obviously losing Chris Godwin out for the entire year. Wish him nothing but a speedy recovery, and this is a big opportunity for McMillan. This is a big opportunity for Trey Palmer. This is a big opportunity even for guys like Sterling Shepard and Raheem Jarrett coming back, right? These are going to be the initial guys that you look at in the immediate sense, and we'll talk about some other guys that the Bucs can bring in throughout the days of this week. We'll see. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about this Chris Godwin injury. And look, folks, there really isn't much more point in arguing whether or not it was right or it was wrong to keep Chris Godwin in the game. That's past. What's done is done, right? There's not really any more sense in ruminating on it. Now you just have to look and see what's ahead. And what's ahead is a big-time divisional game against the Falcons for the division. So we'll see. But guys, again, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed. As always, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.